What on earth is going on with these Callaway irons and why is no one wanting to buy them? Could it be down to performance or even just raw aesthetics, or more simply pure confusion and the fact no one even thinks to buy them? Whichever way you look at it, it adds up to purely one thing, and it's the fact these could be one of the best value iron purchases going into 2025. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. Simon here, SAS Golf Academy, and let's untangle what can be one of the most confusing iron sets to have ever come out. And it's no surprise, as Callaway produces so many clubs every year. I'm talking irons, drivers, wedges. I'll just show you a brief list. Over the last 10 years, how many iron models have come out? And even though these are all the same brand of the year, these all look completely different. They're all for different golfers. And also, there's some unique choices in here. There's going to be some quirky ones that might actually tempt a few of you because actually they do things a bit different to the other manufacturers. And I want to explain exactly what they're doing differently and why that might not be the particular taste to the overall market, but actually might be great value. That's the first time I've ever held a shot in the studio. Oh, this is going to be a great video. Completely lost my train of thought now. I have no idea what I was talking about. These are great value irons. The 2021 Apex range. And yes, 5 different heads. These are 2 of them. I've got the others to talk about and show you. But these are, let's say, the players' irons, the control irons, the make a nice hole-in-one kind of irons. However, let's talk aesthetics, especially when we go into the rest of the irons, because even though in themselves, I think both of these irons look fantastic, apart from the Degenerate, that kind of filled in blue at the bottom there and on the Callaway logo. There's not much merging in aesthetics through this set, which I do think has hurt the resale value of these because they are designed to, well, be put together in combinations. Now, when I refer to player irons, I mean irons that don't help distance. If anything, take it off. They're helping you with the spin. They're helping you with that flight control because these are smaller heads and they're more lofted. Both of these irons, 34 degrees loft. And yes, this MB on the right-hand side here, and to be honest, I'll show you some prices here because this is one of the cheapest irons in the second-hand market, as you'd imagine, because who in their right mind wants to play blades in 2025 when you have the slightly more forgiving version that I have behind me as a substitute? However, no matter where I hit this ball with this shaft and this head, because there's so much spin, you should be able to see this kind of linear pattern forming in terms of front to back dispersion. What I mean by that is if I hit it well, or let's say I catch it hot, it's never going out this way. I want to be able to go into the green at 180, 190 yards, knowing full well my ball can't go out the back here. The higher that number is, the more likely that's going to be. And that's where this version comes in, the TCB, which by itself I do think looks fantastic. And again, as I'll show you with the prices down the right-hand side here, very reasonable. I'll show you the other iron that I think this reminds me of and why it was so popular, especially on tour at the time. But now I've got a slightly bigger head. Bit more confidence, especially in a 6-iron and a 5-iron on a cold winter's morning. You want to know that if you don't quite hit it out the screws, well, it's still somewhat getting towards the target. And just like there, I've pulled it, let's say, a touch left of target. Okay, mind you, I've hit that dead straight, let's be honest. But with the forgiveness of this TCB, guess what? I'm still getting the same amount of spin as I was with the blade. Now, that's a pull left. The reason that I'm showing you this is that the better you get at the game, the more consistent of a ball striker you become, the faster you become. Front to back dispersion is pivotal. Like knowing that a club can't go particularly that far is what makes you commit to the shot. And as we'll discuss with the other irons in this range, typically we're wanting help just to get to the green. At the moment, I'm more scared about going too far out the back of it. This Apex TCB reminds me so much of the AP2 718. 34 degrees loft this was, and why it was used on tour, famously used in Jordan Spieth's bag when he was on that absolute tear. And ironically, a good set of these here in my left hand probably go for more than what these Apex TCBs are. And to be honest, they basically do the same job. Control with, let's say, a tiny bit of forgiveness. Hopefully you're starting to see what I mean now, because these all came out in the same year. They're all from the same Apex range and supposed to blend into each other. But if you had pitching wedge and 9-iron in the MBs, and then let's say 8, 7, 6 in these, and then 5 and 4 in the Pro, I mean, it looks like you've got 3 different eras of golf club here. However, there's a reason why I've got the 6-iron in the Apex Pro and not the 7-iron, and it's because it's going to loft the same as one of my other clubs that I have here today. That being said, for a club that is as forgiving and let's say P790-esque in terms of looks, feel, and especially at address, the 7-iron in this set comes at 33 degrees loft, which is actually pretty high for what head design it is. Again, why is that unique and important? Some of you will be too fast for the P790. You'll pick up a P790, it's at 30.5 degrees loft, and you will hit that thing 190, 200 yards. However, you're an intermediate player, mid-handicap golfer, or low to mid-handicap golfer, looking to get your score down. You still need forgiveness, but you need spin. You don't spin it enough. You hit big drawing hooks into the flag. Well, this thing here, especially at the price, could be your answer. I mean, to be honest, that could blend quite nicely into the other two that I just hit. If I look at the prices of the Apex Pro 2021, the third installment of that year with 5 different irons, that's what you see. You see combo sets through the bag. I don't think they look coordinated. They look completely different from each other. But what they've done is given you a bit more control, especially when it comes to these. But as I said, I've got the 6-iron here. And why have I got the 6-iron here? Because my last club that I want to show you, they're very powerful, they're very offset 7-iron that Apex brought out that particular year. In theory, should go the same distance as well this 6-iron. The Apex DCB. Now this is the most offset and chunky out of the lineup. I'll show you an image of the standard Apex here to the right hand side, which sadly I haven't got in the studio, but I am looking for this full Apex range. So if you're a pro shop, or if you know a pro shop that has these in the back, obviously you can't fit for them anymore because, well, they're useless. I'll buy them off you. I want the full range because, to be honest, they'll be a great addition to my fitting studio in here, especially for people looking to get these this year and obviously test them. However, we're down to 30 degrees now, and what loft is 6-iron in the Apex Pro? 30 degrees. Therefore, we should have relatively the same amount of distance. So let's put this to bed in terms of what iron you actually need, and it comes back to what I said at the start, spin. Do you spin the ball too much? Do you think you hit the ball really nicely, but it spends more time going up rather than forward? It stops on a dime, so when you hit the green, it stops really quickly. However, do you feel like your mates are hitting it past you, even though you're swinging faster? If that's the case, the 3 irons I've already shown you aren't the iron that you want. Again, 6-iron here with the Apex Pro. Let's have a look at our spin rate. Bit blocky, but it was a nice strike. And again, 5,200 with a 6-iron, which is kind of about right. What I'm thinking, just over 200 yards carry. Right, DCB time, I'm going to swing it the same. We were just under 100 miles an hour there. We were 5 degrees on the inside. That is definitely a bit too much, I must say. However, similar feeling. And to be fair, I've pulled that. That's definitely not the golf club. I guess it kind of proves a point though. That is the one that I don't want. Spin down to 4,500. Again, I want to show you guys that I won't get 5,000 spin with this club, even if I hit it straight. Let's hit another one. 100 miles an hour, this time straight. There she is. What was my spin rate there? 4,900. And basically the same distance as that 6-iron. Again, I don't want to hit my 7-iron over 210 yards. Otherwise, what am I hitting from 140? However, launch and spin is basically the be-all, end-all of distance and control, and head design plays a huge part in that. And deciding which one is best for you is crucial, because let's hit another one where I'm not coming on the inside, my face isn't really closed, very open. I talk a lot about this on my online course, which has gone down very well, and it's been great to obviously analyze a lot of your guys' swings as well. So if you're interested in that, I'm still offering a free analysis and drill video sent to you via WhatsApp after you download the course. But I talk a lot about spin loft throughout the entire course, how shaft affects it, how head design affects it as well. And as you can see, if I hit that same swing, let's say we go slower, but we're going to make sure that our face is open on the way down. We're coming over the top when we hit this one. All of a sudden, my spin's going to be a lot higher than it was a minute ago. That is 6,200 worth of spin. We've now got the spin, but that's purely through technique. Very steep, very out to in. So what happens if I was to have a truer lofted shot? That's kind of produced all the numbers I wanted, by the way. I'm happy with that. Again, this isn't necessarily favorable, but some of you guys just swing like that. So buy a club that's going to help you when you come to that swing. If we ignore all of this and we just look at those, I'd say that's a great golf club, to be perfectly honest. The efficiency is good, 1.36. Launch angle, 20 degrees, 6,200 spin. Now imagine I did it with TCB, like we just had a minute ago. This is 34 degrees loft, less offset, not as open. And I try and put that same swing on that I just did there. Oh, mind you, I've done that a lot faster. That's 97 miles an hour. Ironically, it won't go as far though. Why? Because it produced more spin, which for that golfer is less desirable. But for my swing, actually quite good. Look, that was the swing before, 88 miles an hour. That one I swung at 97 miles an hour, but look at the efficiency. Actually, I think we probably got just as much ball speed from the DCB, so that one there, compared to the blade. 3 miles an hour more, even though I swung it almost 10 miles an hour faster. Look at the launch, look at the added spin, which means they both basically went the same distance, even though one was traveling 10 miles an hour faster. Head design's a great way of dialing in your spin and control when out on the golf course. And as unmatched and uncoordinated as this whole Apex range is, I can't look past the fact that these feel great, they sound phenomenal, and they do what they're supposed to. And looking at the second-hand market, they're one of the best value irons to go into 2025. The only decision you have to make is which head style you probably want in the bag. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching. If you want one-to-one coaching with myself or even online lessons or my online course, sasgolfacademy.com. Catch you guys later.